All right, what's happening, family? It's Maarifa, black at y'all once again. And today we're going to discuss a topic that's kind of been, emotional and, conflicting, for a lot of people. A lot of people been going back and forth with this new NFL policy that the commissioner, Roger Goodell, put in place regarding, players standing up for the national anthem. Okay? So we're going to discuss that. It looked like we took an L, but I'm going to show you how we're going to bounce back. You dig? Check this out. But before we do that, we're going to do a few admin notes. Get in some admin notes real quick. Check it out. Check me out on Facebook, YouTube. You know what I'm saying? Watch, like, subscribe, hit the little bell. Give us Maarifa right here. Go check out the pages. Everything is good. You dig? Good information, good stuff, a lot of current events, historical facts, nothing but the real knowledge and truth being put on these pages. You dig? A lot of good videos and information. Check that out again. Once again, give us Maarifa at Facebook, YouTube. Go like, share, subscribe. Send it, share it out to a friend, share the page with a friend. Spread the information because Maarifa is coming. You dig? Bringing that information, that good knowledge. All right, so check it out. A lot of people gonna say, man, Sean, what's up with you, man? You got on all the NFL gear and you dig and you decked out your whole thing with your NFL stuff and you got your logo out and all this, that, and the third. How can you be repping the NFL and be pro-black at the same time? That's a contradiction. Or you being hypocritical. Or this, that, and the third. Well, I'm going to tell you what it is, okay? Now, if you stay with me through this video, you're going to find out what I'm talking about or how I can stand here or sit here wearing these, my favorite gear and still be pro-black at the exact same time. You dig? So check this out. Let's run this video real quick. I want to show you something, okay? And we'll get into what all the controversy is about before I start letting you know.
A new policy today to address the national anthem controversy. It requires all players to stand for the anthem, but only if they are out on the field. The Steelers played a big role in the controversy last season when all of the players except for one remained in the locker room for the anthem during one of their games. John Shumway is live with reaction tonight. John.
Yeah, it took the NFL owners, Susan, a discussion for most of yesterday and then into today to finally come to an agreement on the new anthem policy. Fans are nowhere close to agreeing.
No doubt.
What Colin Kapernick started, the NFL owners moved today to end the national anthem.
I think that, we've listened to a lot of different viewpoints, including our fans, over the last year, and I think this policy attempts to come out in a place where we respected everybody's point of view in this as best we could.
The policy will now allow players to stay in their locker room during the anthem.
They should keep them off the field if they don't want to participate in the national anthem.
If they come on the field, they, quote, shall stand in respect for the flag and the anthem, end quote.
I think the NFL is doing good enforcing that you should respect the flag and the country.
Teams will be fined if its personnel on the field do not stand and show respect for the flag and the anthem. While team-level discipline of the individual player is left up to the team, the rule says the commissioner will impose appropriate discipline on league personnel who do not stand and show respect for the flag and the anthem.
If they're willing to stand up and say, I don't want to stand during the national anthem, I'd rather sit or I would rather kneel, I don't think that they should be fined. I don't think that that's appropriate.
I agree with people needing to respect the flag, but right now not everyone has their liberty and equality. So I think that they have a right to protest, and if they don't, you're taking away their First Amendment.
People should honor the flag, and Americans should stand whenever they're doing a national anthem, so I'm all for it.
I don't think they should be forced to stand or forced to put their arms over their chest. They should be able to just stand there and put their beliefs out there for everyone to see.
Of course, the original reason for the protest in the first place was to protest social injustice, especially towards blacks in this country. And to that discussion, Roger Goodell, the commissioner today, issued this statement saying, "We are dedicated to continuing our collaboration with players to advance the goals of justice and fairness in all corners of society." Of course, the flames of this controversy were fanned by the tweets of the president. I've been watching his feed on Twitter this afternoon, and so far, no reaction from 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. Live downtown, John Shumway, KDKA TV News.
All right, so check this out.
Qualcomm invents the foundational tech.
We ain't going into that. So check this out, Dig. We're going to get into this whole discussion. Let me give you my 2 cents on this whole thing, okay? Now,
the NFL approved a new policy today to address the national anthem controversy. It requires all players to stand for the anthem.
Okay, we all for that. We all for that. Now, the whole point of this national anthem thing, you know, we all know about the protest that Colin Kapernick started. He did, and what he did was he brought awareness to a real issue that we facing here in America, okay? Real issue about, you know, inequality and justice for African American people and people of color, you know, having to deal with, you know, the racial injustice, the criminal justice system, having to go forward and deal with, you know, a lot of stuff that, you know, black people and people with melanated skin have to deal with in this country. You know, the double standards which we live under. You know, we don't get away with, we always get messed with, you know, for little petty small crimes, and, you know, we get shot and killed in the streets. Our babies get shot and killed in the streets, you know what I'm saying, by racist, crooked police. You know, not all police are bad, you know what I'm saying? So let me put that out there. So let y'all know, not every police is bad, okay? Some bad apples in there in the police department that's causing the problems and everything like that, but not all police are bad. But we all know that, all right? But this was the whole point of the protest, you dig? And then we had this whole shift in the narrative, which was driven by the president, okay, and the government system. So they shifted the narrative, changed the whole mindset of the people and put it in the mindsets of these fans that, hey, you disrespecting our flag, you disrespecting our country, and they having this fake ass patriotism that they putting out. You know, half or none of them, you know, NFL fans ever even served in the military, you know, but they got something to say. You know what I'm saying? So me as a vet, I don't have a problem with the protests. I don't have no problems with, you know, people exercising their First Amendment rights, you know, to freedom of speech, freedom of expression. Okay, I don't have no problems with that, because that's what I serve for, to be able to protect and serve the Constitution of the United States. Okay, so I was able to go and protect that freedom for everybody to be able to go ahead and, you know, express themselves and use and exercise their amendment rights. Okay, so with that being said, I don't have no problem or issue with nobody protesting, especially when it's something that is correct that they're protesting against. Okay, if there's inequality or injustice, we need to speak up about that as a nation. Okay, we need to stamp that out. All right, so for me to sit here with the Bears gear on, you say to yourself, well, Sean, you woke, you know what I'm saying? You conscious and aware, you see all of this that's going on. How can you support the NFL and continue to do that? And you say to yourself like this, man, there's a lot of emotions on both sides. I got a lot of friends on both sides of the extreme. I got friends who love the NFL and they very pro-black in their stance. And they say, you know what, I can't do it. I can't support the NFL no more. I'm going to boycott the NFL. Then I got friends who say, I'm going to just protest, okay? I'm going to protest the NFL, and this is where I'm going to stand on it. And that's where I'm pretty much in the middle of right there, right? Then there are friends of mine who don't even care at all. They have no clue what's happening. You know what I'm saying? They just love the NFL, and they're going to go ahead and watch the game regardless of what's going on, you know, politically or socially, all right? So the whole spectrum got people talking, got people up in arms and feeling some type of way, emotional and things, this, that, and the third. But here's what I'm saying is like this. The history of this whole thing and this anthem, okay, the controversy of this anthem. We know in this country that racism has been a part of this country's moral fabric from the very start, from the very beginning. You know, white Europeans have come into this nation, colonized it, conquered it, took it over, you know, claimed it as their own, and they act as if, the descendants act as if, you know, their history, you know, that didn't occur in their history. They want you to forget that part of history, you know, but every time we bring it up, you know, it's a problem. Every time we mention it, then there's a problem, you know, but if we don't learn from history, we're doomed to repeat history. And that's the reason why I always go back and refer to history. And I think it's very important that we study history so that way we won't repeat the same mistakes that we always do. Okay? So we got to know the truth. And, you know, and that's what Maarifa is here for, to give you this true knowledge. You dig? So the Star Spangled Banner and its bigotry, we all know that it has hidden racist historical meaning behind the song that was created by Francis Keys. All right. So if we look down here, we see that they always, recite the first verse of this song. Okay, we all know what that is. We ain't gonna sing none of that. Francis Scott Keys, he was a prisoner. He was on a British ship during the War of 1812, and he wrote the poem while watching the American troops battle back the invading British in Baltimore. So here's what happened. The British was here trying to fight for this land, and they was fighting these Americans. So the Americans and the British, they cousins, all right? The white Europeans and the white European British, they cousins, fighting over territory that they didn't even own. You dig? They ain't even own this land. So here they are fighting against each other. And the ones who came over here to America brought slaves, African slaves, us, our descendants, over to this country. And then we also had African, indigenous Africans and Indians in this country already. You dig? They were already living here. All right. So everybody knows that. That's well known. All right. They try to tell the baby something different in school, but everybody knows who has studied history know. All right. So Francis Scott Keys, he was a prisoner of war on a British ship. And what the British did was they used the slaves to try to help their army be stronger and build their army up to be more than the American, army that was trying to fight the British. So the British told the Africans that, hey, if you come join forces with us, we will secure your freedom for you. We'll make sure that you're free. So a lot of African slaves escaped and they joined this British army. You dig? So the British army, they was fighting against the Americans, the racist Americans who was here in this country, so that's how that whole thing got started. There was an alliance, that the British were using the African slaves to try to, get them on their side, join their army to defeat the Americans, okay? And so that the British could take this country, all right? But we know that America won and this, that, and the third. They pushed the British back and all this yada, 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 historical stuff. But this dude, Francis Scott Keys, he wrote this song, this national anthem that, the country adopted. But we only sing one verse of this song. But the song has a lot more verses to it. And it gets into depth about the slavery and the slave involvement in the war and how he felt about it. You dig? So here we go. To understand the full Star Spangled Banner story, you have to understand the author. Keys was an aristocrat and city prosecutor in Washington, D.C. So he was like most enlightened men at the time, not against slavery. He just thought that since blacks were mentally inferior, Masters should treat them with more Christian kindness. You see this right here? Here we go with this Christianity bullshit again. So this is the reason why I'm against this Christianity stuff. One of the reasons. All right. So he supported sending free blacks, not slaves, back to Africa. And with a few exceptions, he was about as pro-slavery, anti-black, and anti-abolitionist as you could get at that time. So Francis Keyes, we talking about Francis Keyes, okay? So of particular note was Keyes' opposition to the idea of colonial Marines. The Marines were a battalion of runaway slaves who joined with the British Royal Army in exchange for their freedom. The Marines were not only a terrifying example of what slaves would do if they was given a chance, but also a repudiation of the white superiority that men like Keyes were so invested in, okay? So all of these ideas and concepts came together around August 24th, 1815 at the Battle of Bladensburg, where Keyes, who was serving as a lieutenant at the time, ran into a battalion of colonial Marines, black troops, that beat his ass, pretty much. These troops were taken to the woodshed by the very black folks he disdained. So they got beat by the black Marines. You dig? And Keyes was pissed off about that. You know, he didn't like the fact that here he thinking that these inferior African slaves, you know, couldn't possibly be strong enough to defeat his white Europeanness. You dig? He was thinking he was superior, you know, him and his whiteness. You dig? So I'm like, yo, man. So his disdain for, you know, him getting defeated by these black people, these Africans, pissed him off. You know, so then the British let's keep the story going. Keep going. The British troops, emboldened by their victory in Bladensburg, then marched into Washington, D.C., burning the Library of Congress down, the Capitol building, and the White House. So you can imagine that Key was very much in his feelings. You see that? Look at the story. It's cracking me up. He was very much in his feelings, seeing that black soldiers trampling on the city. He was desperately, that he loved so much. You dig? So a few weeks later, in September 1815, far from being a captive, Key was on a British boat begging for the release of one of his friends, a doctor named William Beans. He was on the boat waiting to see if the British would release his friend when he observed the bloody battle of Fort McHenry in Baltimore on September 13, 1815. America lost the battle, but managed to inflict heavy casualties on the British in the process. Now this battle inspired Keyes to write the Star-Spangled Banner right then and there. But now one remembers that he wrote a full third stanza decrying the former slaves who were now working for the British Army. And it says this is the third verse. It said, "And where is that band who so vauntingly swore that the havoc of war and the battle's confusion, a home and a country, should leave us no more? Their blood has washed out their foul footsteps' pollution. No refuge could save the hireling and slave from the terror of flight or the gloom of the grave. And the Star-Spangled Banner in triumph do wave, oh, ere the land of the free and home of the brave." So he said right then and there, can't no slaves beat us. You dig? You know what I'm saying? These slaves thought that they can, you know, come in and do this, that, and the third to us, and this, that, and the third. They can't beat us. So he sitting up there bragging because he was inspired. He saw, you know, American troops, you know, win a battle from the harbor. He watching the harbor, and he was watching them win a battle, a fight. And, you know, he started writing about the slaves that had kicked his ass prior to that. You did? So he was all in his feelings. Okay, so here's the history. Here's the history of this Star-Spangled Banner, okay? So before people get all emotional, you know, a lot of football fans don't understand the true history of what's going on or why we sit or protest, you know what I'm saying, this national anthem. You know, the inequalities of the African in this country has been going on since we've been here, since we came to this country. You dig? The enslavement, the segregation, the Jim Crow laws, the, injustices, the prejudiceness, a lot of different things that are not fair and equal, where we not even considered, a full man, voting rights and all this, that, and the third, 3/4 of a man law, all of that we have been enduring, as African people, melanated people in this country, okay? So the average white European who grew up and their descendants, they are the children of the children of the children of those who originally came to this country, and took over the land, colonized it, took everything, stole it all, okay? They are the descendants of those people, and they have privilege to this day in this country. A lot of them got wealthy on the backs of slaves. Their families became wealthy on the backs of slaves from slave labor, stuff that we had, built and contributed to, cotton, the agricultural farming, building of, buildings and things of that nature, railroad systems and stuff. The wealth that, white Europeans had amassed in this country off the backs of Africans, while we, stay suppressed, while we stay, downtrodden and beat down and this, that, and the third, they keep us down and keep us, under locks and key, under religion and this, that, and the third, and we fall for this stuff and we only get peanuts and scraps from the table. We don't own nothing. We don't have no wealth, even though we generated all the wealth for this country, for white Europeans. We don't own none of that. We don't own a lot of land. We don't own a lot of stuff, collectively as a group, I'm saying. We got a few black people here and there that's doing some things, okay? But collectively as a whole, black people are not owning nothing. We don't own the communications, TV. We don't own the land, the agriculture, the farming system. We don't own the transportation system, boats, planes, trains, automobiles. We don't own none of that stuff, all right? So for us as a people, we have pretty much hard in this country. You dig? So going back to it, the NFL has adopted this culture because it is a reflection of society. All sports is a reflection of society. So we're acting as if, it is something new that is going on with the NFL. Sports have always, the ownership has always sided with society and the powers that be. All right. So that's why you had, the first black, football player, Kenny Williams. What's his name? Kenny Williams? Let's look here. Kenny Washington, rather. Kenny Washington was the first black, football player in 1946, for the LA Rams. Then you had in baseball, Jackie Robinson, first black, baseball player, in the national, in the baseball league. Okay. And then you had, Bill Russell with the Celtics. Okay. So you have in the NBA. So sports has always been, some type of a reflection of society. And the United States has always had racial divide, racial separation, racial, there's not been no unity as far as America is concerned, racially. You dig? We get along with each other now, to a certain extent, but deep down inside, there's that tension. There's that underlying tension. There's things or you just can't say or mention, there's taboo subjects and topics that you can't, mention and talk about because we don't have healthy discussions about these situations in order to heal. So here, the NFL is forcing people to choose and pick sides, okay? So the NFL has always been this way. You dig? They've always had some form of, racial or slave type practices that remind people, of a time period in this country where, blacks and Africans were treated a certain way. So you see these methods right here that they have in the NFL draft process, where they measuring these players up, putting them up on the stands and taking a look at them and stuff like that. And, see these white people and stuff like that, taking a look at the speed and agility of all these players, treating them as, they're cattle. You know what I'm saying? Like they're commodities instead of just human beings, that's able to, be an athlete. But they're looked at like in this situation. You did look at them, measuring them up and all this, that, and the third. So it reminds you of this type of stuff. You see this? It reminds you of these days where the master would go and try to look at the slave on the auction block and, look at his eyes, make sure he got all his teeth, check out his limbs and make sure he got, all of his strength. He's strong and healthy so they could put him on the auction block and sell him, to the highest bidder. So the NFL and their tactics and policies somewhat similar, showing some, similar, what's the word I'm looking for? I guess practices to, slave owners coming to this country initially. You dig? So you have in this situation, having people remind you of these certain things. But none of this is new, okay? The NFL has been doing this for years. The difference is we have new technology now, okay? So we have technology where we can, see a lot of this stuff in real time. They show all the NFL draft online. They got, people interviewing, these owners, trying to ask them about, these practices and policies that they have in place. And, all of this stuff is real time. But the NFL been doing all of this stuff. This ain't nothing new, okay? These practices that they have and these policies that they have been implemented for years. But now all of a sudden, because of the narrative that is coming from the president, Agent Orange, and what he pushing out there trying to cause racial divide, telling them, if you don't stand for the national anthem, you should be put out this country and this, that, and the third. Even though he, may or may not know the history, of that national anthem, and he may or may not know, or he choose to ignore, the history of how his descendants treated African descendants, and he has no sensitivity because of his racial, and racist or bigoted, ideologies of himself. You dig? So you saying that these owners of the NFL, Agent Orange tried to be a part of them in the beginning, and they rejected him out of their little social club, their exclusive club. They have an elite group, these NFL owners. There's only 32 of them, okay? And a lot of them been in power for damn near, 7 decades, all right? 7 to 8 decades. A lot of them like 80, 90 years old right now, these owners. They ain't died yet. You know what I'm saying? And they families been owning these, football teams, since they started. You dig? Since the NFL started. But what I'm saying is, they have an agreement with the United States. The United States has been in agreement with the NFL to show this patriotism, to show this, force because 9/11 happened. You dig? With George Bush, when he tore down the towers. But that's another story for another day. We'll get into all that later on. But when 9/11 happened, it was such a big push, for the NFL and the football teams to show, patriotism and allegiance with America, with, coming together and this, that, and the third. And it happened on September 11th. So that's right around the same time the NFL season started. So they were kind of forced into this whole thing. You know what I'm saying? The NFL was with the country. And, doing the Star Spangled Banner, having the players stand out there together in unison. During that time, everybody was pretty much, on this, patriotism kick. proud of the country and all this, that, and the third, and let's go get Saddam and what's his name? They killed him first. Saddam Hussein and Bin Laden and all of this, that, and the third. So all of that stuff, was going on, and then the NFL joined on board. They jumped on board, you know what I'm saying, with that whole thing. And I think a deal was struck at that time with the NFL and the United States government, where they had in cahoots with the television organizations that, pay these people's salary. You dig? They pay all the NFL salaries and stuff. And I think a deal was struck with CBS, NBC, ESPN, Fox, all of them that show these games. They was like, all right, we're going to show this national anthem. We're going to include that in our contract. And somehow the government is connected some way, somehow. I don't know how. But I think it was a deal that was struck, and it's just been perpetuating and going on. You know what I'm saying? Because the way the owners put it on, this new policy, they put the onus on the players, you know what I'm saying, to decide. So now that's going to cause rift and problems, with the players on the inside. So the ownership, they put themselves and tried to enforce it. And they said, okay, we're going to make you decide. So it's kind of like a divide and conquer situation. So they're going to put it in the hands of the players to make the decision. And then on the inside, the players going to, either divide and conquer, or they're going to unify and come together collectively as brothers and agree on one thing. You know what I'm saying? So then they made it hard on them, say, if you do come out and protest, we're going to penalize the team. So players ain't going to want to penalize their team. All right. So they're going to try to do what they can, and come up with some other form of protest and things of that nature. The owners had a moral responsibility in which they could have squashed all of this by just saying, we're going to keep all the players in the locker room at the time and nobody can come out for the national anthem, and just let it be done like that. And then that would have sent a direct message to the fans, like, listen, this national anthem thing ain't about, no disrespecting the flag. It ain't got nothing to do with that. But it is about, criminal justice reform. It's about, this industrial prison system. It's about, these dirty racist cops, the bad ones, the bad, dirty racist cops killing innocent black people. Okay, that's what it's about. So keep the focus there. But the president, with his Agent Orange ass, shifted the whole narrative. You did, because he was trying to, push his racial, race war agenda, trying to get at blacks and whites to fight against each other. And what better way to do it than use the NFL? Because everybody loves the NFL game. Everybody likes football. You know what I'm saying? There's only a few people I know that don't like football. All right? But a lot of people I know love football. Okay? And they very conflicted about this situation. They don't know how to feel about it. Some are angry against, the NFL, and some are not. But I'm going to show you, why you shouldn't be mad at the NFL. I mean, at the teams. And you should still support your team and go see the game. I'm going to show you this. Hold on a second. So let's go back. You dig? But NFL ownership ain't nothing, they having racial practices ain't nothing new. They've been doing that. All right. So it's kind of like the narrative is being, pushed a little bit harder now. But look, check this out. Doug Williams, first black quarterback, to win, the Super Bowl. So why does he have to be the first black quarterback? You know what I'm saying? Why he can't just be a regular quarterback? So again, these are racial things that the NFL has always been, projecting onto the fans and onto the people. And nobody said nothing back then. A few people said something, but not everybody had much to say about these things. But it's always been in your face. You see that? You know what I'm saying? That whole racial divide has always been in your face. But nobody said anything as long as, they was trying to, integrate or assimilate into the game and try to, get along with, each other and this, that, and the third. Nobody had nothing to say. But a lot of people have this stance on the situation now. And they see it like this. You dig? They see it like this. They see the owners paying off these players, telling them to shut the hell up. You know what I'm saying? You just play football. You know, you got a lot of these, you know, Fox News reporters talking about some, you know, just shut up and play sports. We don't want to hear nothing about your political stance or how you feel politically. You know, you just paid to play ball and this, that, and third. I disagree. Okay, they should speak up about their, you know, feelings on different things in society and in life. They should use their platform to be able to project this to a mass audience. Okay, so that's the whole point of the protest. It's a mass audience that is going to, because anybody can go in front of a camera at a press conference and say a few things, but it ain't gonna be, you know, televised globally in a mass production like that, you know, where Colin Kapernick was able to take that message to a broader audience, a broader scale. When he knelt down on that football field, when he knelt down, he was able to take that to a large audience, and those people saw, you know what I'm saying, what the visual was like. A visual image is very powerful. You did. So a lot of these owners got this, you know, ideology, or they take this stance, like, you know, that's the way that the NFL fans see, you know, the players. And then the narrative is pushed by racist white people who want to, you know, want these these players to be obedient and to be subservient and to be submissive and just shut the hell up and play football. That's what you getting paid for. You know what I'm saying? You less than inferior person. You know, we don't care about you unless you're playing sports for us to entertain us. You know what I'm saying? We don't care about your views or what you think or anything of that nature unless you're entertaining us. Then that's all we care about for you. You know what I'm saying? But athletes are saying, no, we're more than that. We are human beings. We are people too who have feelings and hearts and things of that nature. We do have rights in this country because we're citizens just like you. So we can speak out against these injustices. You know, we just had an NBA player, you know, who was tased by the police, you know, unjustly. You know what I'm saying? Recently from the Milwaukee Bucks. I can't remember his name right now. But that brother, you know what I'm saying? It took about 4 or 5 police, white, racist police, 4 or 5 of them, taking him down and tasing him. One black man. You know, why is that? Why do you need to do that? You know what I'm saying? One black man, you know, shouldn't have 4 and 5, you know, police, you know, white racist police, you know, tasing this man and this, that, and the third. You know what I'm saying? One black man, I mean, it don't take that much to detain somebody, okay? If he was doing something wrong, you know, it don't take that to detain nobody. You did? But here's what they say. All right? So a lot of brothers, you know, they feel like this. A lot of brothers who were passionate about the NFL, you know, who wanted, you know, they really love the game and stuff like that. Because I got friends who are diehard, you know, fans of the NFL, their teams. You know what I'm saying? The teams that they love. You know what I'm saying? They diehard fans. They've been diehard fans for many years. You dig? But they're conflicted on the inside because of this whole mess. All right? They don't know what to do. They don't know how to be pro-black and, you know, still support their team at the same time. They don't know how to do that. They're conflicted. They feel like, you know, they're going to sell out. Or they feel like they're going to be like a sellout or something to that nature, you know, if they do that. You know what I'm saying? They saying, oh, you can't be pro-black and, you know, love the NFL at the same time, knowing, you know, how these white racist, you know, owners feel about you. Why would you give them their money? Give them your money. This is what the argument is, okay? So they say right here, they say, I don't care how all of this plays out in the end. I will never watch another NFL game or put $1 into it. They're a disgrace. So this is how a lot of my brothers and sisters feel, okay? Even though, you know, they love the NFL. You dig? This is how a lot of us feel, all right? So I can understand that feeling, but I can also see on the other side how we as a people didn't collectively come together and stand up the way that we should to end all of this. You dig? We had a greater part that we could have done. This opportunity here to unify as a people under one situation and come against that, we had a great opportunity. And what did? We didn't do anything. We didn't do anything. You know why? Because we could not agree on what to do. You know what I'm saying? We all have our own understanding. We all have our own, personalities. We all have our own personal beliefs and understandings and things that we feel is strongly about. Okay? So we as a people couldn't collectively come together on this issue, even though we seen the injustice. We seen what happened. You dig? But the white ownership, they don't give a damn about the black dollar or the black, fan, because you know why? They already got their money. You dig? They got their money. Okay, they got their money from TV deals. You know what I'm saying? They got their money from sponsorships. They got their money from all of these different things. Your little $250 ticket ain't gonna mean nothing to them. That's just a little pocket change for them. You dig? Now, when the league first started out, maybe that was important. Fans coming out was important. They needed the fans to be there to support when they first started out in 1920. But it's 2018. You dig? They got billions of dollars. So your little $250 ain't gonna change nothing. You dig? So if you boycott, let me show you what you do. If you boycott, what'll happen? Here you go. Here you go. If you want to boycott somebody, boycott this dude right here. Boycott Aaron Rodgers. I hate the Packers. But no, I'm just playing. But dig, check it out. So check it. A lot of my brothers and sisters say, let's boycott. I don't want to watch the NFL no more. They're against us. They ain't getting no more of my money. But you still gonna buy all of the shit that the sponsors put out. Look at these sponsors. Anheuser-Busch, that's beer. The Barclay, Bose speakers, Bridgestone tires, Campbell's soup, Castrol, BP, Courtyard by Marriott. I know y'all stay at the Courtyard. Dairy Management, Dannon, Extreme Networks, FedEx. I know a lot of y'all get y'all stuff shipped by FedEx. Don't be lying. Frito-Lays. Y'all probably eating Fritos right now. You did? Gatorade. Y'all drink that shit. Hyundai, Motor American. Look at this. Mars Snack Food. Microsoft. A lot of y'all got a damn Microsoft, system on your damn laptop right now. You got Microsoft 10 on your systems right now. Nationwide. New America. Papa John's. We don't like his ass no more. Pepsi. Y'all drinking Pepsi left and right all day long. You did? Procter & Gamble, Quaker Oats, Verizon. A lot of y'all got Verizon phones right now on your damn hip. You got a damn Verizon cell phone right now. You dig? Talking about you gonna protest the NFL. But here, these people, Visa. You got a Visa in your wallet right now. You dig? What's in your wallet? Huh? What's in your wallet? You dig? So USAA. So are you going to boycott these sponsors? These are NFL sponsors. What companies sponsor the NFL Players Association? Here's a list. Look at that. Here's the list of NFL sponsors, major contributors. Okay? So if you gonna boycott the NFL, you might as well boycott all of these, or else you're a hypocrite. You dig? You a hypocrite. You ain't doing shit but blowing smoke and running your mouth. You pissed off for nothing. Because if you ain't gonna boycott all of this that support the NFL, and not to include Fox, you know what I'm saying? NBC, ESPN, NFL Network, are you boycotting them? I don't think so. Look at this. You see this? Read this at the top right here. Financial terms have not been released, but the three networks are expected to pay roughly $3 billion a year on average annually, compared to the current $1.93 billion they collectively pay. ESPN re-upped its deal with the NFL earlier this year at an annual rate of $1.9 billion. You hear that? Billions of dollars. So you sitting in the stands like this. Okay? That's how they look at you. That's how the NFL owners see you. You're only one individual. All right? So if you boycott, okay, and a few of y'all boycott, maybe 100, 200, that's nothing. Okay? They have stadiums that have 60, 60,000 and 100,000 seats. You know what I'm saying? So if only a few of y'all decide y'all don't want to go, you dig? Look at these stadiums. Look at these stadiums right here. Look at this. Arrowhead Stadium. Look at Arrowhead Stadium. It's deep. Look how many people they are. You dig? That's 60 to 70,000 strong. 80,000, look, capacity, 76,000 people. Arrowhead Stadium. You got a good 1,500 black people, 2,000 maybe, or maybe 10,000. That ain't even enough to fill up half the damn stadium. Okay? 10,000 black people who boycotting the NFL. Are y'all really thinking you hurting their pockets? Huh? You really think you have impacted their bottom line? These NFL owners? You think you did anything at all? You know what? The NFL players, the black NFL players, they still showing up to work. So what does that tell you? Huh? That tells you that we are all slaves. We're all slaves to the mighty dollar. We all slaves to the mighty dollar. We're going to do what we have to do to feed our family. We're going to do what we have to do to get by in this country. We're going to do what we have to do to get by in this system, because it's designed for us to be able to have to pay for things and to purchase things in order to live. We have to do this, that, and the third, transactions, trade, and back and forth. It's been designed like that by the white Europeans. They set it all up. We can't go and enjoy life freely. You dig? We don't own shit. So it's like you fighting against a machine, okay? If you didn't come against and boycott all of these companies, right? Let me go back here. All of these companies that let me go back here. All of these companies, you know, that have you know, sponsorship with the NFL, you know, why are you boycotting the games? You ain't boycott Verizon. Your cell phone's still on. You dig? You ain't boycott Visa. You still swiping it at the grocery store or swiping it wherever you using it to buy your stuff. You still got a Visa in your wallet. Why you ain't boycott that? They support the NFL. Why ain't you boycott, you know, Fox and ESPN and NFL Network and NBC, CBS? They pay billions of dollars to the NFL. You ain't boycotting that. You not stopped watching that. You still watching that. So I'm saying it's like this boycott stuff that we talking about, you know, just so we can say that we ain't sold out. You know what I'm saying? We don't sold out to the man, this, that, and the third, but you still ain't boycott the rest of the stuff. Now, if y'all would have stood up collectively as a group, right? Say, for instance, all the black players in the league would have walked out, strike, right? They would have walked out and strike, and they would have joined Kaepernick and said, yo, man, we want to stand up against this injustice and this cause, you know, and make them, you know, force the policies of the government, United States government, to force Congress to go down and reform this damn criminal justice system. We ain't going back to work. We're going to go ahead and protest. And then do something even greater than that. Had they gone in and said, you know what? Once we leave, if we don't get our terms and conditions answered, we're going to open and form our own league. You understand what I'm saying? We're going to form our own football league, all black football league. They had the Negro Leagues in baseball for years. Satchel Paige and all of them came out of that. You dig? Some of the best baseball players who ever existed played in the Negro Leagues. That was all black. So how come the football players didn't do that? How come they didn't boycott? You dig? Because it's about that money. It's about the almighty dollar. We can't agree as a people. We ain't gonna agree. Some of y'all not gonna agree with me right now. You dig? You don't even agree with what I'm doing right now. But what I'm saying to you is this. Had we had come together, we had more than enough millionaire black athletes, and I'm pretty sure other sports would have jumped in and supported this too, that could have started their own black football league, all black, if the terms and conditions wasn't met by the NFL. You dig? But you know why they stayed? Because they got all of the viewership. The major television markets. You dig? They got NBC, Fox, ABC, ESPN. They got all the major networks televising their games. If they left and started their own league, who gonna view those games? What they gonna put them on? BET? I mean, what they gonna put them games on? They could have did BET, I don't know. UPN, ain't no telling. You know, VH1, I don't know. They may have done that, but I mean, but we didn't even try that. You know what I'm saying? We didn't even try that. So for us to be sitting up there mad, talking about we gonna boycott the NFL, we ain't going to no games, we ain't doing this, that, and the third, we ain't giving them no more of our money. It's just some bullshit. You know what I'm saying? It's bullshit. You know, you trying to, you know, acting as if, you know, you pro-black, you know what I'm saying? As if your blackness gonna wear off or you're gonna lose your black card if you support the NFL. You know what I'm saying? The players didn't leave. The black players didn't leave. Why are you boycotting? You didn't do shit about it. You didn't stop supporting their sponsors that give the money to the NFL. So why are you being hypocritical talking about I ain't going to no NFL games. I ain't watching no NFL games no more. I ain't doing this. Fuck the NFL. I mean, what? So you can say that you what, pro-black and you got a black card? You ain't do shit about it. You ain't do shit. Now, if you wanted to do something about it and you felt that passionate about it, you could have got a collection. You understand? Of 10,000 brothers. You know what I'm saying? All of y'all could have bought a Colin Kapernick jersey. Hold on, let me show you something. Let me show you something. Here we go. Where's my man? Let me go back. Here we go. Where is he at? Where is he at? Do I got him? Damn it. Why do my pictures keep going away? Hang on a second. Here we go. Kaepernick. Right here. You dig? So here's an option. If you that passionate about boycotting and you don't want to go to the games and give them no money, what you could have did was get you a collection of brothers, about 10 to 15, 20,000 of y'all, you know what I'm saying? Or 2,000, don't even take that many. Y'all all buy, you know what I'm saying, Colin Kaepernick jerseys. Stand outside the stadium at the front gate of the stadium. Stand outside the front gate of the stadium protesting the NFL. Do that for 16 weeks. Every Sunday, show up, same time when the game is in that city and protest right outside that stadium. And you know what would happen? The news media would come out there. They would have to cover that. The news media would come out there. They would have to cover that because that's newsworthy. You dig? They would have to show that, you know, these fans are protesting the NFL who are not being fair to the players and giving them their rights to express themselves and use their First Amendment right and being able to protest. Okay? So the fans will make, you know, the NFL media take notice, and then it becomes a great national conversation. It's all over social media, Twitter, you know what I'm saying? It's all over ABC News, CNN News. It might even get the Fox News, you know, they racist ass. You know what I'm saying? But here's a conversation that will be made because it'll be consistent every week. Boom, boom, boom. Look at this. Let me show you something. So the black students who had pretty much started the civil rights movement in 1960, you know, these black students, they sat in at a counter, you know, in a diner, and these are the brothers right here. They're older now, but let me see if I can get the image of them when they were younger. Here we go. Look at this. These are the brothers who were younger. You know, this is what they did when they sat in. Okay. They went in and they started to protest. They made their presence felt. They made their presence felt in this white establishment that didn't want them there. So it's the same situation with the NFL. These stadiums, these white fans who all fake ass patriotics, you know what I'm saying? Not all of the white fans, okay? Because not every white person is ignorant, but we have a large amount of white people who are just ignorant. and they're blatant, flat out racist, bigots. Okay, and they've been raised like that since birth. Not every white person is like that. Okay, so let me put that out there right now. Not every white person is like that. Okay, so we got some good white people out there who are already woke to this shit. They feel it's not fair. We need them to stand up more and join us and say, look, man, this is not right. This ain't fair. Y'all need to change this shit. Okay, but the ones who are racist and bigots, they sitting up there doing this shit. Let me show you something. Let me show you something. I don't know if I can get to my, let me see if I can get to my desktop. Hang on a second. My images are gone. And I keep going. I want to get to my desktop. Here we go. So you got these people, right? Racist, bigots, don't know no better, ignorant. Look at this idiot. Look at this idiot. Look at the sign he got. When you disrespect our flag, you disrespect those who died defending your freedom. Okay, so this is the ideology and the mindset of some of these ignorant ass people. You dig? So you saying to yourself, like, you know, we got a large amount of people who are just ignorant. But if you consistent about going out and protesting every week, every Sunday, it only takes 16 weeks. It's one day out the damn week for maybe a few hours, not all day. You see what I'm saying? But I mean, niggas ain't doing that. You know what I'm saying? Niggas ain't even gonna do that shit. You know what I'm saying? So they want to talk shit, talking about I'm gonna boycott the NFL and I ain't gonna watch another game. That's not gonna do nothing. Nothing, because your lack of presence, you not being there, you being absent, you not putting your voice, you're not being heard, you're not showing up. These brothers right here showed up, you dig? They went to the counter. They said no more of this injustice. We're gonna be served in this white diner. And you know what it did? It sparked the movement. Because they showed up to protest against it. It sparked the movement. They went all the way, you know what I'm saying, to the United States. Look at this idiot right here. This idiot. Look at this idiot right here. Him. He want to start a race war. That's what he's trying to do. He's trying to get out of debt. So he needs to start something. A conflict with Korea, a conflict in the United States, a civil war. He needs something to spark off so he can get money in his pocket. You dig? Because war brings business. Okay? Everybody knows that. You know, once you start fighting, you're going to start needing material, you know, to fight these wars. And that means people start going back to work. This is what this idiot wants to do. Okay? So once you realize that, you can get beyond the bullshit that he pushing. He pushing some crazy ass rhetoric. You know, some racial divide rhetoric. Ain't nobody on that shit but his dumb ass. And a few of them dumb motherfuckers who ignorant. You know what I'm saying? That follow and vote for him. Okay? So what these people did, they stood up. And see what you have right here? Look at this here. You see this? You see this? I can't even blow it up. Can I blow it up? Go back. Can't even blow it up. But you can see it right there. This is what, you know, they want to see us as. Okay? So you get racist, ignorant bigots. You know, when people are standing up against injustice and inequality in this country, you get a large majority of these racist, bigot, you know, uneducated, you know, dumbass, you know, white European people who just don't know no fucking better, who think they're superior to every goddamn body because this is what their parents told them. You know what I'm saying? Just misleading them, misguiding them as children, and now they're raised up as adults who are turned to fools, okay? And this is what they do to people, you know, who have common sense, who, you know, who are loving and caring people, all right? And this is the same situation with the NFL. So Agent Orange is trying to shift the narrative to make this type of shit happen again in history, all right? So he's trying to bring this back, these times right here. This is what they're trying to do. But if it wasn't for these brothers standing up, and going into, you know, this establishment where they wouldn't be served in North Carolina, okay, Greensboro, North Carolina, they were college students, these brothers right here. If it wasn't for them standing up, you know, we wouldn't have had the civil rights movement. We wouldn't have had none of that stuff, okay? So you can read right here what happened. It said, what happened in Greensboro, North Carolina on February 1st, 1960 took even John Lewis by surprise. In his memoirs, Walking with the Wind, the future civil rights icon whose most intense days at the head of the movement were yet ahead of him as that decade began, recounted the episode. He said there were 4 guys in Greensboro, all of them freshmen at North Carolina A&T College. They had no plan, no preparation. One of them had read that 4 comic book about King in Montgomery. They had begun talking about the process of nonviolent action, and on this particular afternoon, they simply decided it was time for them to do something. They ain't had no plan. They ain't had no preparation. They just said, you know what? We tired of being sick and tired. Let's go do something. Let's stop talking about it. You know, let's go be about it. Let's walk it like we talk it. Walk it like we talk it. Walk it, walk it, walk it, walk it like we talk it. You dig? So these brothers got up and started doing something. They wasn't saying, oh, I'm going to stay at home and I'm going to boycott because they don't want me in there. No, they went to the motherfucking establishment. Excuse my language, but I get passionate about it. But they went to the establishment and they sat there. These brothers have said, which they did, taking 4 seats late that day at the whites only lunch counter of Greensboro downtown Woolworth store and touching off what would come to be called the sit-in movement across the South. It happened so spontaneously, so suddenly that the next morning newspapers contained no accounts of the incident. So when they kept going back and forth, then it became national news. Then the news were going to cover it, okay? The news crews. So just like that, the same situation can occur with the NFL. If the brothers would go to the game, if the brothers who are going to the game, like me, if we go in there, we raise the black fist, you dig, and we sit down on that motherfucking national anthem, you dig, and we protest and we say, we here, you ain't gonna run us off. We here, we see what y'all doing, we know what y'all about, and we don't like it. We gonna show up in this mug and we gonna show you exactly how we feel about it. You dig? We gonna unify and show you how we feel about this here. Yeah, I paid $200 to go to the game. That's a drop in the bucket for the ownership he getting billions of dollars from NBC, Fox, and news. If I stay home and I'm absent and I'm not there at the game to show my face, you know, and show how, you know, disgusted I am, then the cameras won't catch that. It won't become news. You know, the people will forget about it and they'll move on. You dig? They won't know. So what we have to do is show up and show them, you know what I'm saying? Like this. Look at this. We got to show them like this. Look at this. We got to show up. So if we show up like this, you dig, going to the game, everybody got the black fist up, everybody unified as one, right there at the game. Look, we in section 235, row deep, just deep. You understand? So you tell me if that don't get no, you know, if that don't get no attention, if that don't gain no attention nowhere, all right? The news coverage gonna start covering that because that's news. That's newsworthy. You understand what I'm saying? The newspaper reporters are gonna start talking about it. The people at Fox News, they're gonna start talking about it. ESPN is gonna start talking about it. First Take, they're gonna have to discuss it. It's going to have to be a discussion that needs to be had, and it's going to raise all the way up to Congress. They're going to have to do something about it, and then they're going to put the pressure on the NFL owners to change it because the players are going to feel like, now we need to do something about this because now we're unified, the fans as well as the players, not just the players by themselves. You understand what I'm saying? So if we stand up and unify, look, even if you don't want to go into the game, the brothers can stand outside. Look at this. The brothers outside at gate A. Look at that. The brothers can be outside if they don't want to go in. If they don't want to pay the money, they can stand outside every week. Look at that. You see that? They can stand outside raising the black fist of unity. Okay? Showing our unification. protesting what's going on, being just like those 4 brothers in the Greensboro, North Carolina diner at Woolworth. They said enough is enough. They tired. We're not going to keep, running from y'all. Yeah, we want to be, going to the games. We love the games. We want to watch the games. The brothers are showing up. Okay? They working, so I'm going to go and support them. Okay? So the brothers is showing up and supporting, then we go and support the brothers. If they still playing on the field. All right? Now, when they decide to leave, then we'll roll out and go somewhere else. Okay? We'll go with them. Wherever they go, we'll go. But as long as they showing up for work in the NFL, we going to go and support them, because the little chump change, $250 you're going to give for that ticket, it's going to go towards that brother's salary. And that brother's going to do some community work back in the hood, hopefully, if he's a conscious brother and he's awake. And he's going to go in and try to help a little young brother or sister, come up and help them get out of their situation, of poverty. They're going to try to help them, encourage them to do better in school, to educate themselves, to go ahead and uplift and move on. So that little bitty $250 that you give to the game ain't going only to the white ownership, who has these bigoted and racist ideas that you will stand up for the flag, you will respect the flag type stuff. It's also going to those black players and the white players who don't even, have no racist, bone in their body. There's a lot of white players in the NFL who agree with the black players and who are upset at the ownership about this whole thing. Chris Long is one of them. You know what I'm saying? I got a lot of respect for Chris Long. You see what I'm saying? Chris Long, man, he's standing up with, his brothers in the NFL, and he understands the injustices of America and the country. He understands the racial inequalities of this country. He understands that. So I'm not saying all white, football players are racist. That's not the case. But, the ownership put it on the players to divide and conquer them. They put it on the players to say, like, you know what? Y'all make the decisions. You can decide to stay in that locker room, but then we're going to point out the fact who's not out on the field. We're going to mark you. We're going to try to, put a mark on you and say, oh, he's not on the field, for the national anthem, this, that, and the third. So this person, needs to be, identified as a troublemaker or something to that effect. You know what I'm saying? Then now it's on the players to figure out, how they're going to move, what they're going to do. All right. So for us as a people, and I'm going to bring this to a close. Let me see here. Hold on a second. As a people, black people, how we say, we don't want to support the NFL no more and this, that, and the third. And I understand that. I get that. What I don't understand is why you boycotting? Why not protest? When I go to the game this year, you better believe I'm going to sit down on that goddamn national anthem. You better believe I ain't standing up for that shit. And I served. You understand? I'm a vet. I served. So for me, I serve to protect and defend that Constitution. And that means the rights of all citizens in this country. Not just those who going to tell me, you going to stand up and show respect and this, that, and the third. When I know that I have the freedom of expression, the freedom of free speech. Okay? And all other citizens have the same rights. I'm not going to sit up there and you ain't going to dictate to me. That sounds more like Russia. That sounds more like communist Germany. That sounds more like a tyranny. You know what I'm saying? A tyrannical, emperor that's trying to force you to, bow down to this nationalism and this, that, and the third, and this fake ass patriotism. That ain't United States freedom. That ain't what the founding fathers or whatever founded this country on. You know what I'm saying? So if it's okay for white Europeans, to come into this country as immigrants and then, they be assimilated into this culture and have all these rights, those who were born here also should have them same rights. And they shouldn't have those rights, taken from them, or it shouldn't be a double standard. You know what I'm saying? It shouldn't be, them treating you certain ways because of the color of your skin, as opposed to somebody else who has less melanin in their skin. That's not fair. That's not fair. And the NFL ownership, they have these old traditionalist views because they all old. Okay, these are old people who like beyond baby boomers. You know, when they were born into those racist, segregated times. A lot of them probably just came out of slavery and Jim Crow, and they all remember the Ku Klux Klan being in their city. You know, those are the babies who own the NFL teams today. Those old ass 80, 90-year-old, you know what I'm saying, owners, a lot of them still in the NFL today have those racist views. Jerry Jones, Bob McNair, Bob Kraft, you know what I'm saying, Robert Kraft. You know, all of these owners, you don't know, you know what I'm saying, the Rooney family. You know, some of them, you know, you have no clue what their stance and ideologies are on race. You know what I'm saying? Do they look at their black players as commodities only? Or do they look at them as human beings who have rights and citizens of this nation? Just like they should. They shouldn't look at you and say, oh, the color of your skin, you know, determines how I treat you. No, you should look at a person as a human being and judge them on the basis of the character of that human being. Judge them based off their character, not off the color of their skin. Okay? So we as African Americans been fighting this battle for as long as we've been here. And you know, and it's falling on deaf ears. You know what I'm saying? We keep screaming inequality, crying inequality, and then we divided ourselves because we can't agree, you know, on how to come together collectively to combat this injustice. But, you know, we took the example of them 4 brothers who took, you know, a stance in Greensboro, North Carolina, and they protested in that Woolworth, diner in 1960. And they sat in and they showed up and they showed their faces and they came back and then they endured all of that suffering and all that pain and all of that racist bigotry and all of that, you know, embarrassment and threats and all of this stuff and abuse. They endured all of that because they were tired of being treated like dogs, like animals, like less than. They were sick of that. Okay, so it's the same situation when Colin Kaepernick took a knee. He took a knee because he was tired. He wanted to use his platform as an NFL quarterback to be able to broadcast to a large audience. Okay, mass produce. So the brothers and sisters can do good works, you know, behind the scenes, but nobody would know. Unless you show up and you show these cameras and you show, you know what I'm saying, the people, you know, about the injustices of this country, then the whole world can sit back and take notice. The whole world can take notice and they'll say, you know what, shame on America. Shame on America for doing them people like that. After all of the contributions they have done, the great contributions they have done, these African people have done for this country, you know, being treated less than a citizen is a shame. It's a shame. Okay? We should have the same rights and privileges. We should enjoy the same privileges as every other citizen in this nation. But we all know that we don't. And it's time. If you want to do something about it, then go protest. Show up to the game in unison. Buy you a Colin Kaepernick jersey. You don't have to support your team. Buy you a Colin Kaepernick jersey so you can support, you know what I'm saying, that movement, that protest. Go outside the stadium with about 1,000 brothers, 1,500, 2,000 brothers. You know, all of y'all wearing Colin Kaepernick jerseys and protest before the game starts or during the whole game. Because then the story wouldn't be about the game. The story would be about the protest. And that's what you want the attention to be on. You know what I'm saying? You want the attention and the focus to be on the protest instead of the game. And then that would force the ownership to do something about it, to make a change. You understand? If you keep showing up every week in your city, if you got an NFL team in your city, you and a couple of brothers, y'all show up. Y'all could go out there and barbecue for all I care and throw a little tailgate before you start protesting, whatever. But go out and protest. You know what I'm saying? You could watch the game. Stop acting like you can't watch the game. You could go to the game. Stop acting like you boycotting is going to do something. You got about 200 or 300 of y'all, you know what I'm saying, talking about you're going to boycott the game. Man, man, please. That little bit of money, that's chump change. You understand? I showed you how big the stadiums are. They got 70,000 to 100,000 seats in there. You think they gonna miss you? They not gonna miss your little $250. That ain't nothing. But anyway, what I'm saying is, if you want to impact some real change, protest is what I believe is the right way to go. Protest that anthem, protest outside the stadium, protest in the stadium, unify as black people, and sit down on that goddamn national anthem. Don't stand up for that shit. Okay? Until they fix the criminal justice system in this country. Until these white racist police stop killing our babies, black babies in the street. Again, I'm going to say it again. Not all police is bad. You hear me? I'm going to say it one more time. Not all police are bad. The good cops need to break the code. And they need to snitch on these badass cops to get their ass up out of there. And I'm going to tell you one more thing. If there's a police that did something, a racist police that did something outside of the police standard, they should tell on his ass to internal affairs, turn his ass in, and his ass should go to jail. And I'm telling you, once you get one of them to go to jail, they'll rethink this whole process. They'll rethink everything. They'll be like, nah, we ain't doing that shit no more. I'm telling you, just one. Let one of them go to jail for something who they killing a black, unarmed black boy or whoever doing something corrupt. Let one of them go to jail, and I guarantee you that shit gonna stop. I guarantee you. But as long as they can get away with it, as long as they can go do admin leave or, you know, get off from just being fired or whatever like that, lose their job, and then they go to another little small hick town to get another police job somewhere else. As long as they can get away with it and keep doing that, ain't nothing gonna change. Ain't nothing gonna change unless you unify together, Africans. You know what I'm saying? If you Africans, African Americans come together, if y'all unify and protest this thing consistently every week go to the game. Every week show up and protest. Every week get out there. Wear a Colin Kapernick jersey, raise that black fist. You dig? Unify and make the people take notice. Make the press and the media take notice. And be collectively under one thing against this damn racial injustice, criminal justice system. That's your goal. That's your focus. Come together. Stop fighting each other over this stuff. And we can't keep arguing over silly junk about, oh, you a coon because you going to the game, or you sold out because you going to the game, or you don't boycott and this, that, and the third. Your boycott ain't nothing. It means nothing. If you ain't going to boycott the rest of them sponsors, it means nothing. It means you're a hypocrite. If you're going to boycott just the NFL only, and you ain't boycotting the rest of their sponsors who paid their money, pay them billions of dollars, pay the NFL billions of dollars, if you ain't going to protest that, or you ain't going to boycott that, then you just a hypocrite. You just running your mouth. You need to go out and do something. Stop saying I'm going to sit back at home and I'm going to boycott. I ain't going to the game. I ain't watching. You ain't doing shit. But if you go and you show your face and you stand up, now you doing something. Now you doing something. So all the talking and all that bullshit y'all doing, running your mouths, talking about I'm boycotting, I'm just going to sit back and not, it's nothing but hot air. It means nothing, and it ain't going to impact the bottom line. Okay? So if you get out there and you protest and you make them take notice of you, maybe things will change. All right? So look, that's my 2 cents on it. You dig? Maarifa just dropping some knowledge on you, you know. So hopefully we can get something changed and come together as like Voltron. Come together like Voltron as a people. And stop talking about it. Stop arguing with each other. And let's do something about it. Okay? Let's go and be active. Let's stop talking. Let's go out there and let's show our faces. And let's show a sign of unity. Let's show a sign of support. Let's talk to the right people we need to talk to. Let's get to the table. Let's do something so we can change this thing collectively. Okay? It ain't going to happen unless we come together and stop arguing and disagreeing about, you know, what we should do and what we shouldn't do. We wasting time and doing nothing, and all they keep doing is getting paid and keep going. And we sitting up there spinning our wheels, doing nothing. You dig? So I had to put this video together. I had to show y'all, you dig? So I had to put this out there, put my thoughts on it, you know, because I saw a lot of stuff on social media, you know, friends of mine going back and forth, arguing with each other, people unfriending each other, calling each other out each other's name, and you fighting over what? What, the white man? You fighting over the white man who gonna still get paid regardless? I mean, for what? So, you know, so I'm just saying, like, you know, if we're gonna do something, let's do something. Let's stop arguing and talking about it, and let's come together and do it. You dig? So stop all the BS and let's be about it. Let's walk it like we talk it. Okay? So stop running your mouth and let's walk it like we talk it. And when we start walking, I guarantee you, there are gonna be other brothers and sisters joining in. And you gotta stay focused on the goal, and that's to reform the criminal justice system. Don't let them change the narrative and make it about patriotism and you disrespecting the flag. No, keep the focus where it should be. And you make them stay there, okay? Keep the focus where it should be. Criminal justice reform, stop killing our babies. Okay? Don't let them change the narrative, because that's what they want you to do, be distracted. They want to change it to a national, change it different to something. That's what Agent Orange is trying to do. He's trying to start a race war. So what better way to do it than get these ignorant ass football fans that don't know no damn history. They uneducated dumbasses. They never been in the military, never served in the military, don't know shit about it. But yet and still they want you to be patriotic and stand up. You know what I'm saying? That's forced patriotism. You ain't gonna force me to do a damn thing. I'm a citizen, I have rights. I have a right to choose. You can kiss my ass. My entire black ass. How about that? You dig? But all I'm saying is that's how I feel about it. And I'm going to go ahead and end this. And I'm going to say it like this. You know, the truth is out there. You dig? If you seek it, you'll find it. Once you read the truth, you'll free your mind from the matrix. You dig? So until next time, I'll say love and light. Peace.